Hello?
Alar. Yeah.
Hello? Eh?
Hello.
Eh?
Ah.
Hello?
Ah. Hi.
Welcome, everybody. Hi! Hi, 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 hi. Oh my gosh, thank you for the
Hello.
follow. Kagami Furry?
Booty. Yeah, that's
Foodie.
that's one of the talents from Lucid. Hi.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry for butchering your name. Hello! Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for the follows. Let me say hi to everybody who's here. Hi, Sphinx. Thank you for being first. Hi, Pants. Hi, Rocco. Hi, Night Owl. Hi, Foodie. Hi, Chimpy. Hi, Akihiro. Welcome in. Hi. Hello. Oh my god, Kato. Hi. Hello. Boss. Hi. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Alar.
Hello, I'm first. Factually incorrect, but I appreciate the effort. Hi, Dingus. Hello. Welcome in. Hi, Dev. Hello. Welcome in. Hi, hi, hi. That's our dad. Dad real?
These fucking kids.
I'm very excited to do a yapping stream with you specifically because I opened up, for questions on Morrow to see like what the community wanted to yap about. And we got quite a few very confusing messages here that I am itching for you to explain.
What do you mean by confusing? I am now slightly worried.
I mean, they just have no context. That's all. I said this while we
Okay.
were sitting in the call before starting the stream. And the response that was given to me was, they weren't about mpreg, were they? Which was awesome.
As long as and I told Teeny, like, as long as they're not about mpreg, I'm solid. So, you know,
Yummy!
anything goes except
Yeah.
that.
I hear the VIVARIA manager also doesn't feed them. Well, that's kind of silly because VIVARIA doesn't have a manager. Ha 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 ha
Unless.
ha. Ha 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 ha. Would you like to introduce yourself? And I guess also because this is a yapping stream about management, I guess hit me with your credentials and your portfolio and all the things that makes you certified to yap about this.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Here we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Manager-kun. I am a talent manager at Lucid Multimedia, a VTubing agency. I have been managing VTubers for about 4 years now. Oh God,
Mm,
I'm old. Um, and
old.
I started off at a very small VTuber agency, and I've been working and growing and learning ever since. And now
Mm.
I'm at Lucid, and it's been great. We're gonna be at Offkai this year. And you know what else is gonna be at
Yippee!
Offkai? Vivaria.
Whoa! Bavaria
You
at the
know,
Lucid booth also for
yes,
a meet and
yes.
greet. Yippee! Very
Yippee!
exciting. Um, well, I guess to anyone who doesn't know me, I am a manager, sort of. Well, I hesitate to call myself a manager, but first and foremost, I am a talent with Bavaria Virtual. So I'll hit you with my little idle intro that is really cringe. Galloping my way into your heart, I'm Izumi Teeny, Bavaria Virtual's idle horse girl. Yippee! Um,
Yippee!
I'm a full-time VTuber. And I have been streaming since 2021, and I had my full debut as Teeny in August of 2022. And it worked out for me the first time, and I have had no alternate accounts or past lives or anything of the variety. I have been Teeny ever since. I guess my credentials for talking about management is that I am the creative director and founder of Vivaria Virtual, which is a indie VTuber group. We are all quote unquote self-managed, but I market the hell out of us. And yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know. hopefully my credentials of just having been here for like 5 years is like enough, I hope. But
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
yeah.
Both of us, we've seen quite a lot, I'm sure,
Uh-huh.
throughout this space.
Yes. The rise and fall of many a corpa, and
Oh yeah.
yeah. I have been told in the exact words of one of my friends, you have exceeded the shelf life of a VTuber, which was kind of a funny statement for them to make. So, but yeah, today we're gonna be answering some. I asked my community. I said if there was ever like any questions that you had been itching to ask a VTuber manager, like this was the time to do it. And some of them, I think you'll get some really like good, insightful answers out of. Like they were really thought through questions.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm excited to yap about it. But let me
As am
pull them
I.
up,
Let's get into it. Yes.
and I will read them out to everybody. I won't have them up on the stream, so sorry. You will just have to listen to
No
us
visual
talk.
aid.
No. Okay. The first one I actually know who this is
Jesus.
from, even
Okay, yeah,
though
go for it.
this is it's kind of silly and it's anonymous, but I know who it's from. Teeny, you're not old, just aged like cheese. But not like one of the cheeses that ages nicely. You're like a bag of shredded cheddar that's been at the back of the fridge for 5 years. Mods! Mods! Get this guy. How do you know who it's from? Okay, well this question is what does the M in manager stand for?
Hmm. The M stands for massively multiplayer, multilingual managing man.
That's a
Dang
good
it. I did.
answer. That's a good answer, Mpreg.
No!
Yummy! Thank you, Yuxi, for the question. Last time I did a Q&A at a convention, which was, I believe, Animathon, Yuxi, in between, every time there was a lull in questions, Yuxi would come up and say, what does the V in VTuber stand for? What does the T in VTuber stand for? What does the U in VTuber stand for? Until they got through the whole word.
Oh my god.
I ran out of answers. I gave up. They broke my will to live, I think. But
But you answered all of it, did you?
I did. I did. I gave it my best shot.
That's what's up.
um okay. I guess first like real question. What are some tips that managers might have regarding successful VTuber events and projects? And what are some dream VTubing related events you would like to make happen one day?
Ooh, good question. Good question. Um, in terms of events, like it can't be understated how much like prior planning plays a big role in how successful or how like smooth the event goes.
Mm,
Because success is very like relative, but in terms of how smooth the event goes, I can definitely say the more you plan and the more situations that you account for, the better um, the better likelihood the events are going to go smoothly.
mm-hmm.
So I would definitely say like, making sure you have your guest list arranged ahead of time, making sure that each guest like either RSVPs or like locks it down in their calendar that they're available for that specific date for that specific activity, making sure that if it's like a game, everybody has that game ahead of time and
Mm-hmm.
nobody's like
Mm-hmm.
downloading it, the day
Yeah.
of because
Yeah.
that leads to a lot of anxiety.
Mm,
Um, talking about bigger bigger events, like if you're doing like Fall Guys or whatever, you know, um, sometimes having like backup people in case some people who initially RSVP'd can't make it. having like lists like those is really really helpful. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I can't understate the power of prep,
Mhm.
and also just making sure that you have um, something that you're interested in hosting, or like something that
Mhm.
the people would be interested in like participating in. Because
Would you apply
uh,
this same answer that you're giving to like debuts?
if it's going to be um, like a debut with like Collins and stuff,
Mm.
yeah. But then like if you're
Yeah.
talking about like prepping in
Mm.
general, yeah, for
Mm.
sure. Oh,
Mhm.
100%. Like uh, at Lucid, for example, not gonna go into too many specifics, but like we
Mhm.
do make sure that our talents like do rehearsals, make sure that ahead of time we have everything um, prepped before the debut stream, before people actually go live. Um, so that
Mm.
there's as many variables out of the way as possible.
Mhm. Mm.
And then remind me the second
I
part of the question. Oh, sorry.
Well, I'll answer the first part too, so that before we move into the rest of it. But um, some tips that managers might have regarding successful VTuber events and projects. I think also having a prep aside, um, having an understanding of like current trends and like what's working on social media and what's not is also really helpful in my opinion. Especially when it comes to like if you're planning a debut, like what used to work for debuts to, you know, gain hype and all that might not work anymore because of the way that the industry has changed over time, you know? So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I think being aware of like what's going on in the industry and what the I don't want to say like what the industry standard is, but like doing your research is also like equally important to prep work, I suppose. Um
yeah.
if
I'd
you
agree.
if you
Yeah,
really want to have like a successful event, like if that's what's important is like that it's successful, I think like research plays a major part in it.
yeah. And to bounce off your points about like how the industry has shifted so much, and like things that used to work before don't work as much anymore. Like I think a big example is like silhouette challenges, right? Those used to be
Mhm.
like the norm back in like
Yes.
21, 22, right?
Yeah.
But then now, as like more and more debuts happen, people are more like pushing the boundaries for like how to like best get their design out there.
Mhm.
I've seen like there's always like videos. There's a lot of really cool concepts and designs that people bounce off of in order to advertise their character, and I think people really really vibe with those.
Yeah.
Um,
I think from what I've seen of like specifically with the silhouettes and stuff, like unfortunately, because there's so many VTubers out there, before it used to be back in my day, there wasn't that many VTubers, right? And so every time a new one popped up, people were like interested, so they didn't have to see anything to be excited. They could just see the silhouette and they were like, "Oh, cool, like another VTuber." And then that was like enough hype in and of itself. But now because the industry is, I don't want to say oversaturated. I think that it's very saturated. I don't think it's like, I don't want to use that as like a negative term, but
mhm.
uh I think that because of the fact that there's so many VTubers now, you need to have like something that's interesting that will catch people's attention, and using just a silhouette is like not really enough anymore. So those posts kind of like fall flat now, unfortunately. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is kind of sad. And then like it doesn't always lead to like debut like attendance, right? Which is like
Mhm.
another big thing.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's just the playing field has changed for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when you write an essay and you need to have like a really good hook to make the reader keep reading, right? It's like that's what
Hmm.
your post is when you're planning your debut, is like you need to you need to have something that makes people go like, "Oh, I don't know, click more things on this person's page? Question mark, question mark. I don't know. Does
No,
that
yeah,
make
yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Back in the day, a Reddit post and some shares was all it took. Yeah, like, I don't know. But also, the community was smaller. And at that point, like, when I'm, the era that I'm thinking of, like, back at that time, it was like everybody knew each other and everybody wanted to know each other. And so, like, just seeing a new VTuber pop up at all, even without having any further information, was like people were curious, right? So, yeah. I love the essay format. This is making more sense now. This was my question, by the way. Thank you for taking it. Of course. The other half was, what are some dream VTubing related events would you like to make happen one day?
Oh, okay, that's kind of broad. So
Yeah.
like, frick. Uh, I would.
Heck.
Okay, heck, I would love to someday be involved in some sort of like VTuber AR type stuff. I
Mm,
think that'd be really really cool.
mm,
Um, if ever VTubing technology gets to a point where we can like interact with fans and stuff in AR, I
mm.
think we'll have really made it as an industry.
Yeah.
Um, and if it's accessible, uh,
Yes.
that's the dream.
Mm.
Um, bringing it back down to earth a little bit, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that for quite a while. But I think, hmm,
Maybe like specifically, like, what are some dream VTubing like bounds that you would want to push with Lucid? Like, what is like an event or something that you would like to maybe see happen with Lucid one day?
I think if we could, a big goal right now is doing our first ever like group concert, because we
Mm,
have a lot of very talented singers
mm-hmm.
and producers and such. Uh, but we just need like a stage and
Yeah.
um, like everybody's availability, because everybody's been going through like a lot right now
Mm,
and work and everything.
mm.
So I think something like that, if we could arrange, that'd be huge. Another thing would be like IRL, like I mean IRL as in um like tangible like brands not connected to the VTuber space necessarily. So sort of
Mm.
like as an extreme example, like the LA Dodgers and Hololive, right?
Oh yeah,
If
true.
we could if we could do like a brand deal with like, I don't know, like a book company or something, I'll be
Yeah,
so
I
happy.
think I've definitely have had the thought over the last like year of like what is the thing that I could do that's like I want to be like the first VTuber to blank. You know what I mean? Like I would like
Yeah.
what can I put there that is like something interesting that people would be like, "Oh, first VTuber to do XYZ thing," you know? I've been brainstorming with with my community for like months and we're still like, oh, I don't know. It's hard to think of because also VTubers are doing such crazy things all the time, right? So,
Yeah.
um, especially in like Japan, like they're doing crazy shit over there. So,
Oh no,
I
yeah,
don't
tell me
know.
about it. Dude, I saw a VTuber themed boutique at freaking when I went to Japan. I was like, "Oh my God, we have made it."
Yeah. Yeah. I like what I was in Japan recently and like we like drunkenly stumbled out of the izakaya and like walked down to this like taiyaki place and Sakura
Miko.
Miko. She was like
Yeah.
the poster person for this like small little on the corner taiyaki place and I was like, what the hell?
Oh, that's lit. Like, was
So
was the taiyaki good though?
it was awesome. It was
Nice.
awesome. Hi, Clover. Welcome in.
Hello.
McDonald's, please. True. McDonald's lucid moment.
No, because that means we'd be selling our souls.
Could make
Mr.
a
Ronald McDonald never does a deal without a little bit of give and take.
you could make a Lucid Happy Meal, like the
Okay, not gonna
Minecraft
lie, that would
meal.
go hard. That would go hard. No, and then for the Happy Meal toy, we sell like little like sheep plushies because that's our mascot. Oh my god.
Yeah. I hesitate to like bring this up because I don't want anybody to like steal this idea. So you guys, everyone in the chat, you have to promise right now that you're not going to steal this idea, okay? Are you promising? Can you swear?
I'm gonna need to see some crossed fingers in the chat right now.
Yeah. Pinky
Okay, we got a pinky
promise.
promise. That's pretty strong. All right.
I will not steal. I remember one time I was sitting in a car with Clover, and we were just yapping, and Clover, unprompted, was like, "How much would it cost to sponsor a highway?" And I said, "Huh?"
Oh.
And Clover said, "What if? Hear me out. What if a chunk of the highway was like the Clover and Ari whatever stretch of the
The Clover and
of
Nari
I-9
Memorial
or whatever."
Highway.
Yeah, literally. I think it would be so funny, and I think you would be the first VTuber to do that.
If I recall correctly, it's like a couple thousand. I don't know. That was like when I did the research. It was like a decade ago. Don't ask me why. But the prices might have changed. It also probably depends on like locality. But yeah, if you could, okay, I'll actually cook on this. If you could do that and then attach a QR code. Well, actually no, because you might lead to
Literally.
car accidents.
Right. But I feel like people would be like, "Who is Clover and Ari?" And then, and then that's when they would look it up,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or maybe the best thing is just to put her face on there, so that
Yeah.
subliminal messaging. They'll like it more the more
Well,
they see it, especially for people on their daily commute.
yeah. Clover, like, their hair kind of matches the color of the like highway signs. It's like that same green. So maybe we're cooking. Just me staring at the people on the highway, except it's like just your bald head so that we make sure that it stands out. Yeah. Awesome. You're like a scary, evil white Pikmin staring at people on the highway. Highway sign green is a way to describe a color. Yeah. That's me pointing at every highway sign now going, "That's Clover and Ari." So silly. I think that I feel the same. I would love to host a concert for VIVARIA, but I'm also like something that I really want to achieve with VIVARIA just in general is thank you for the follow. Oh, hi Emerald. Hi. I am passionate about bringing the community together. So if I were to do a VIVARIA concert, I think it would be important to me to have it also include a lot of other indie VTubers and people from other like small corpos and things, because a lot of indies don't get invited to a lot of things. And I just would love to give them those opportunities if I'm able, So
Yeah, that's really kind of you. Yeah.
Yeah. A collab concert would be epic. Yeah, I think it'd be so cool. So I would love to do. Got an ad for following. I'm so cooked. Emerald, I'm sorry. Welcome back from the ads. To anyone who might have missed it during the ad, I was saying that a collab concert is something that I think would be really cool to do for VIVARIA. I think that concerts are one of those things where it's like because it's such like a hype event, like I think it's a dream event for a lot of people because then they could be like, oh, I did that, you know.
Yeah,
So
and like, it's like on a big
mm,
stage, and like
mm,
the people supporting you are there, and you're all
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
like I'll be damned if I haven't like been to a VTuber concert before and like cried because I was like, those are those are oshis. Like I'm so
Oh
proud
yeah,
of them, you know? So like I
yeah,
would
dude.
love to, I don't know, experience that for myself, but also make it happen for other people. Like that'd be so cool. So
Yeah.
concerts are great. I haven't played one in over 10 years. Haven't watched a concert in 10 years? That's a long time to not watch a concert. I can't think though of any other like dream VTubing related event that I would be. Actually, I want there to be a VTuber event like Offkai in Canada. I really, really, really do think that we should have one
Valid.
here.
Yeah.
It makes me sad that there isn't. So,
But what if it's like on the other side of Canada? Like,
it would be fine. I would make the trek. Like, I just would love to see a VTuber related event in Canada because there's so many VTubers in Canada. There's so many VTuber fans in Canada. Like, I think it would be really cool.
oh,
More
Kelly does
VTuber
make a good
cons.
point. Anime North. It's not specifically VTubers, but it is a big one. I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Mm. There's a
But yeah,
couple
more
really big
VTuber cons.
anime cons that have been really kind to VTubers recently. Animethon is one of them. Anime North also. Annie Revo is starting to get there. They had a couple VTuber guests last year, and I think they're trying to, get more VTuber guests every year. So,
Ooh.
hmm hmm more VTuber cons, more VTuber events, more VTubers, more.
More, more.
What's the opposite of that's enough slices? I want more. Um, this question is what type of planning goes into collabs? So, example, how do you figure out the perfect times that work for everybody's schedule?
Oh. So the more people there are, the harder it's going to be to figure out the best time for everybody. I think that's just
Yes.
like a matter of event organization in the first
hmm
place. Or like, yeah.
hmm
It's just one
The
of
more
the
moving
key
pieces there
difficulties.
are, the harder it is.
Exactly. And then aside from that, it's just like finding a like an activity or a game that everybody would be interested in. And
Mm,
so that's where like really vetting your collab partners or like really making sure that the chemistry is there ahead of time really comes into play. Um, because like if you're on good terms with everybody ahead of time, before the collab even happens, like they're more likely to show up. They're more likely to, you know, try to maybe squeeze time in their schedules to make the collab happen. They're more likely to be invested in the activity or the game that you guys are doing. Uh, that's just from my experience.
unless they're a manager at Lucid Multimedia who's never spoken to you before in your life, and you say, "Hey, do you want to join me for a collab where we talk about industry secrets?" And then he says, "Yep."
Yeah, those are like very very fringe cases.
um, in my opinion, um, VTubers are some of the busiest people I've ever met in my life. Um, and so if you approach people and you just say, "Hey, like, you want to collab sometime?" You're not gonna get very far. Um, mostly just because it's gonna be like a, it's gonna be like a, what do you want to eat? Well, I don't know. What do you want to eat? Well, I don't know. What do you want to eat? And then it just kind of goes on forever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
my strategy, my personal strategy, is when I reach out to someone, I already have picked the game and the day and the time. And I send them a message on Discord and I like like timestamp it with their local time, and I say, "Hi, would you like to play this game with me on this day at this time? Does that work for you?" And if they say no, then I say, "Okay, like let's find a better day or time that works." And then usually the conversation goes a little bit more smoothly, and is more productive. Um,
Yeah, that's really, really good advice.
yeah, yeah.
Coming into the conversation prepared with, you know, something that like you put forward, and then the times, like you said,
Mm,
goes a long way in making people feel more, not only feel more inclined to respond, but also just like feel more comfortable with the idea, because there's like
mm,
less things they have to think about on their end.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's like, because then they get this message and they're like, "Oh, like let me look at my calendar," or you know what I mean? Like it just it eh, I think if you just approach someone and you're like, "Hey," like it's just gonna take for it's gonna take forever, you know? So, yeah. Venting Cannon, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. And Lloyd Amber, hello. Hello, hello. Easier to commit to a concrete plan. My favorite tool to use, that I use all the time is there's I think it's a site for like a Discord bot, but they also have just like the timestamping site. It's called sesh.fyi /timestamp. There you go. That's my favorite one.
Someone put it in chat.
And sesh like sesh. I use that one. Yeah. It's just easier because then you can like calendar pick, and it's I've tried using like the Unix timestamp before, and it's like I feel like I am in a fish fight with Unix all the time, so it's just easier.
Yeah, I've only ever known Unix, so I might
Oh
just try
yeah,
this one out.
use sesh.fyi. It's like I think they're a Discord bot that's meant for like scheduling, but you can just use their timestamping feature that's like just in the browser. You don't have to get the bot to use it. So,
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I will try this out.
yeah. Mm-hmm. If you're not using sesh, you're missing out for real. There's another called Hammer Time Tube. Tube TOOB.
Oops.
Silly. Okay. Next question. Oh, this one you might be able to answer more than I can. Um, how can VTubers go about vetting potential managers to make sure they are legitimate?
Ooh. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Um, I would I would start with any potential clients that they have already. Do they post about them? Is it
Mm,
in their portfolio?
mm,
If the manager in question has like a web page, or some other platform they use to advertise their services, it's best to start looking there and see who they've worked with, what experience they have in the industry, and just like credentials in general.
mm,
If they don't have any of those, then chances are they're likely very, very new. And so,
mm,
take that with a grain of salt.
mm,
Um, take it as you will. Uh, and if they do have like a list of clients that they've worked with, if they do have like credentials, then the next step is like figuring out, okay, um, in their time working with clients, how have their clients grown? Do they have like a history? If you check their like Twitter or whatever, um, can you see if they have like a history of like taking on multiple clients, and then do those clients leave?
mm.
Um, it's a little bit of research that you'll have to do on your own end, but when it comes to finding a manager and the manager that's the right fit for you, I think it's worth doing that research.
Mm-hmm. I think that if they do have like a public portfolio and they have all these people on their portfolio, but they were only there for like a really short period of time, that can also be like a bit of a red flag, in my opinion. Like if they're
Yeah,
only there for the
exactly.
trial period and then they leave, that can be a little bit like, ooh, I don't know. um,
Yeah.
a little bit concerning. But it also depends on what kind of manager it is, because if it's someone who's like specializes in like debut management, like more like project management than long-term management, then having clients for a short period of time is not that like concerning, you know? So it just kind of depends on what kind of manager you're looking for. Um, but I think if you're looking for like a long-term manager and they have a very high turnover in clientele, that can be a little bit concerning. Um, I think that if you have access to perhaps a friend who has a manager, a VTuber manager that they like can vouch for, I don't think it's like a bad idea to ask them questions about their management if they're willing to answer them, you know? Like you could ask them questions
Yeah.
like, does your manager have anyone that they would, you know, vouch for? Because I think also like a lot of managers in this community know each other as well, right? So in the same way
I
that
can confirm.
you as a
Yeah, we
VTuber know all the VTubers, all the managers know all the managers, right? So, um, or not all of them, but it's highly likely that they have management friends, you know? So, um,
and
I
if they
think
don't, that's another
asking
red flag.
yeah, yeah. So, asking your friends if you have that ability to is good. Um, I don't think that hiring someone new is always like a bad thing, but I think that it should be disclosed that they are like brand new to management and so that expectations are like not that they're set like right from the get-go, you know?
Precisely, precisely.
Mm,
And then in that case, like it becomes doubly important, if not like even more so, to really vet their credentials. Because if they don't have a portfolio, then it really comes down to their word and like their what
yeah.
they say is their prior experiences.
Hmm.
Um, and on that note, I would of course like make sure if you are looking for a manager, make sure that they've like either done or been a large part or have been a part of like content creation for a
Hmm.
while because there a random Joe Schmo is not going to be able to manage a VTuber if they're not familiar with the space to begin with,
Hmm.
right?
Oh,
That's where I put
Omni
that with.
says, how do you become a manager?
Uh, that depends. So it's like
I think it's
it goes
different for
back
every
to
single
yeah.
person who is in management currently. There is like a handful of reasons as to how and why you would end up in that position. Some people are content creators for a while and then they find out that it's not working out for them and so they decide to shift to management. Or it did work out for them and they were really successful and now they want to help other people. Or maybe they had management experience in like another area and then they thought, oh, like maybe this could apply to this industry too. Like there's so many different ways, or you know someone, or like I don't know, there's so many ways in which you could become a manager, I think.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many ways to get into it, but in order to like really like find your footing in as a manager, I think it's important to make sure you have those base skills first.
Mm. How do you gauge street cred?
um,
I feel like I should be paying for this information. No, no gaslight
no,
gatekeep girl boss here.
knowledge should be free,
Mm.
and that is why I uh, am a fan of uh, getting PDFs of important university books online.
You're so real for this. You're so valid for this. Horse light, horse keep, horse boss. Yeah. That's what I'm
Oh, big
screaming, man.
facts.
A lot of managers will display big name talents, but they may not have good experience. Research really is important. And like,
Yeah.
you want to run it like it's an interview, you know? Like, you're interviewing people to, even though, like, when you think of management in like a you know a retail setting, for example, like the hierarchy is, you know, you are working for your manager, but in this situation it's different. Your managers are working for slash with you, right? So
Hmm.
you need to interview these people so that you know that it's a good fit for you. You know, it's a different dynamic. So some people are just personal assistants and not fully managers. Yes, I want to get into this because that is a question that's a bit later, but maybe I can jump
Mm.
to it. Where is it? Should VTubers consider having more than a manager? And what would be the reason to have more than a manager?
I well, it depends on like what you're defining as a manager, I guess. So like what are you looking for in a manager and what
Mm,
services are they
mhm.
providing? I guess we would have to start there.
Yeah.
Because VTuber managers can do a lot of things, and depending on who you hire, um, much like the point you're referencing before, right? In regards to like some managers only do like debut prep, and then
Mhm.
they find other clients.
Yeah.
Some managers are, like you said, like are actually more just personal assistants rather than
Mhm.
actually like managing you and like helping
Mhm.
you grow beyond your means.
Mhm.
So it really depends on what or on who you're working with and what you're contracting them for,
Mhm.
um, to figure out whether or not you need somebody more.
Yeah. It really does boil down to like what needs or like what goals you have or what you're trying to have met. Um and like there are a lot of VTubers who when they say like, "Oh, like I wish I had a manager," or "I wish, you know, I had someone to help me." Do they mean that they want a manager or do they mean that they want a personal assistant? Because I feel like a lot of the time the things that they need help with is not management, it's just a little extra help, you know?
Yeah.
So, which some managers can also do. Some managers can be fully fledged managers, but maybe the work that they're doing for you specifically is more like PA work, right?
Hmm.
Mm. Um, for a while, like I had a personal assistant that helped me with um the tedious tasks that I didn't want to do, like time stamping my VODs or like
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah.
yeah, time stamping my VODs or um like sending in my Discord my like weekly schedule in the like hammer time stamps because I found it annoying fighting with Unix, so they would format that out for me and send it to my DM so that I could post it in the Discord. Um
Oh,
things like that. Um which is like I wouldn't hire a manager for that kind of thing because I don't feel like I need assistance with my time management or my knowing what to do or needing a content plan or anything like that. It was just like small menial tasks that I needed assistance with because I didn't have enough time in the day. So
right.
hiring a PA and that assistant like in that moment like made more sense for me.
Precisely,
Yeah.
precisely.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
For
a great
an,
example. Yeah.
for an indie, probably working with an editor comes first. Um,
Well, not
I don't know if that's like a
necessarily.
universal statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause some indies
It,
can very well just edit their own stuff.
yeah.
There's so many guides, there's so many like resources available now
It also
for
depends on
how
what you're
to
trying
edit
to
content.
do, like, and
Yeah.
how you're trying to grow and what your content is like best suited for. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
fantastic point. Yeah.
Um, should managers have access to your social accounts login information for any reason? Is that normal?
Okay, so that one it really just boils down to a matter of, well, two things. What
Mm,
are you working with your manager, or what is your manager working with you for? And
mhm,
two, how much do you like trust your manager?
mm,
Um, right. So like for me, for example, like I have access to my talents, socials and stuff, but that's because like one, we're in a corpo, and then two, a lot of the times I help them with like posting things when they don't have the availability to, or like I help them with um, formatting or just like preparing descriptions and stuff for their posts to go out on YouTube, for
Mm,
example, right?
mhm.
So in those cases, it would be essential for me to have access to their information because otherwise, they'd have to do it all themselves.
Yeah.
Um, but when it comes down to like every manager needing access to your like socials and stuff, no, no, no.
Mm,
If you're just working with your manager, just for the sake of like project management
mhm,
and um, maybe like even just like a little bit of help growing your social media. You don't necessarily need to give them the keys to the kingdom, right?
mhm.
It really just boils down to what you need them to do and how much you trust them. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything to add. I think, yeah. I think, I think that if you are like really wary about someone having access to your social media, um, maybe that's for a reason, and maybe that's like a gut feeling that you should listen to. Like, if this is like in regards to a specific situation, which is why I'm assuming it's being asked like in the way that they phrase this with, is that normal? Makes me like, I don't
Right.
know, a little bit concerned, but like, I think it depends on what kind of task you are hiring your manager for. Because, yeah, if you're hiring them for project management or you're hiring them for like helping you generate content ideas or I don't know, whatever you're hiring them for that's not social media, then yeah, it would be a little weird if they wanted into your social media. That would be kind of strange. But if they're
Yeah.
your social media manager, then yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You
Then
know?
it really makes sense for them to at least have your
Yeah.
social media logins. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Hope you're okay. Question mark, question mark.
Yeah. Like on you want to talk about it? Like my
Yeah.
DMs are open, bro.
Um, what are situations where you should be the direct contact point, not your manager? Are there any?
Oh.
I think this
Yes.
can be answered in a
Actually, I
couple
think.
different ways depending on like from a corpo lens and from an indie lens. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why don't you start with the indie lens and then I'll go
Okay.
into the corporate lens, and then after that, yeah.
If you are contracting a manager to help you, um, and you are an indie, you should be the first point of contact because you are the like controller of your content. So you are the one who should know what's going on at all times. Um, when you have a manager that handles all of your scheduling and that's what they're for, then I guess that would be a situation in which your manager should be talking with people about your scheduling. Or I guess there's also situations in which maybe like conventions or artists who would probably not work with you just individually, who you know you need that extra, like my manager will chat with you, then I guess in that situation they would be good for that too. But like overall, I think when you're an indie, you should be the one that is in contact with people the most.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
for corpos, um, it kind of depends. So like between it's a little weird. Between talents, like they like talents are fine messaging each other and setting up stuff. So like
Hmm.
VTuber to VTuber. But then
Hmm.
if we're talking like corpo to corpo, it's better to go through their managers, if not like
Hmm.
the official corpo email or
Hmm.
like corpo point of contact.
Hmm.
um, because it just helps like centralize everything and keep things organized. If we have
Hmm.
to like, because we represent multiple talents, if we have to keep like checking everybody's inboxes, or asking them to check their inboxes for emails between different points of contact, it gets really
Hmm.
really hectic. And so that's when it'd
Yes.
be useful and helpful to have everything centralized
Hmm.
to like one manager or to one like info email. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think even like for Vivaria, like I'm the one who mans basically all of the connections with conventions, and like I'm the one who responds to emails, and because if all of us are doing it all the time, it's like too many cooks. It's too many
Yeah.
cooks,
Yeah.
and who knows like what information will get lost in the shuffle. So it's like important for us to have like one person who is the point of contact. So I think yeah, it really like again, it's one of those questions where it's like, well, it depends. But I think that, um, for me personally, like outside of Vivaria, um, if I had a manager that was, even if I had a manager that was doing my scheduling for me or whatever, like I would still want to be the person that people approach, um, just generally because I like to know what's going on. It makes me feel like I'm in control of the situation, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but like there are some things where it's like, mm, let's say I really want to be a guest at this convention and they, it's a really competitive scene and they might not take me or, like I've never had contact with them before and I want them to really consider me. So maybe I might ask a manager in that situation to contact them for me so that it's really professional looking and like well done. Like I think in that situation, that's like, okay, I would want my manager to contact them instead of me. But for the most part,
Right.
I think that I would want to be the one that's in contact with everybody.
Yeah, there's like a certain sense of like legitimacy that's offered if you have like an official like manager or an official like
Hmm.
email to like contact other organizations or like brands or whatever with.
Yeah.
It's a little silly, but it kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. I think the thing that I think is like I mean, I can't speak for other VTubers and like the way that they prefer to have things run, and there's a chance that maybe they are the kind of people that they like to have their management inform them of things instead of like delegating tasks to your manager like you're saying, Cheeky. But like I've seen VTuber managers like in like collab servers with other VTubers, and sometimes I'm like, huh, because in my mind I wouldn't want that, but it works differently for other people. So I don't know. It just depends, I think, on what you want and what your relationship is with your management and how they are best helping you. So
That's
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Mm. Um. Any horror stories from the manager side of things you can share?
Um, I don't want to drag anybody, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna not do that. I
Mm.
would say okay, this is like a Lucid inside joke, but please, um, how do I say this? Uh, try not to have your manager micromanage you to the point where you need a food ping to remember to eat.
Okay, wait. So, okay, one of the questions that we had was ask Manager-kun about the feeding ping exclamation point.
Oh my god. Okay, so okay, the two tie together. So,
Okay.
this is more funny than anything. Like I'm not like
Mm,
mad or anything about this.
mm,
Um, in the Lucid server where we all
yeah,
work,
yeah,
oftentimes because people are working very, very hard, and because time is a construct and not an
yeah,
actual thing,
yeah.
uh, people often get so lost in their work or so lost in whatever they're doing, whether it be like playing Roblox or editing a video
Yeah,
or what have you, brain rotting,
yeah.
I don't know, that they
Mm,
forget to eat. And
right.
so uh, I've had to multiple times throughout the course of the past few months, um, one, give people a food roll to then ping that food roll to remind people to eat on Discord at a regular time every day. Uh, and yeah, out of all the experiences in my managing career, I would say that it's definitely one thing I did not sign up for. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
That's so funny. Where's our ping for today?
Bro, okay,
Do you
I'll
feel like
literally.
you need to be pinged for food time to allow yourself a moment to eat? Are you like, I will not eat until I get pinged? Is that the situation?
That is literally what they tell me sometimes. They're like, okay, I guess I just won't eat until you ping me. I'm just like, bro,
Mm,
if you're hungry, go eat. Like, what do you need meat for?
Ginny, can you ping me? For what? I think you are a fully functional adult human being that doesn't doesn't need to be pinged. Me when
You
I'm
see,
pinged so I want to get
that's
off
what
League
I
of
think
Legends.
too. But then,
Me when I'm pinging Clover because they've been reading too much yaoi and they need to cease and desist. JK, I'm
nah, but
literally
then
eating right now.
and everyone eat right now.
Everybody eat right now.
You were reading yaoi till 7 a.m. Girl, is it like a freaking?
That's normal. That's normal Clover content.
Was it like a series or like you can't just say that and not drop the sauce? I mean, like, damn. It better be good.
Wow, thank you for the gifted sub to Yowie Fox.
Yaoi fucks.
I'm so grateful. Better be good, Yowie. Yippee! Yeah, the ADHD and autism make eating hard, and pings would make it so much easier. This is true. Well, I mean,
Mm.
if you're hiring, okay, POV, you are an indie VTuber and you are hiring a manager, and you want them to do tasks like personal assistant work. Maybe you can have a conversation with them about feeding time ping. Question mark, question mark.
Yeah, I mean that could be like discussed in whatever contract you and your manager set
Yeah.
up.
Mm.
Um, yeah, like I said, not too much out of my way, but it's just very very strange.
Feeding time like with a pet. Yeah, you're like dinner.
Jingles
Dinner.
keys.
Time for
Dinner
dinner.
time.
Oh, thank you, Clover. This is
Ah,
awesome.
all right. Is that on AO3 or like where do we find that?
Hmm.
What are the tags?
Wattpad?
Wattpad? Wattpad enjoyers in the chat? Hello?
There's this. Do you know who Maya Winky is?
I do not.
Maya Winky is this ASM artist who is just terrifying. She's just so scary. And she does these like ASMR roleplay videos that are I feel like you must have seen a reaction image, and if I showed you, you would be like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this." But it's one of
All
them
right,
was
hit
like
me.
her dressed up as a Victor from The Corpse Bride, and she's spraying Raid at the camera.
Oh my god.
Um. Anyway, she does this one specific ASMR that is my favorite of her dressed as Lumiere, the candelabra from Beauty and the Beast. and
Okay.
and she's like doing your makeup, and POV you are Belle and she's Lumiere and she's doing your makeup. And there's a part where she's like, "That's a big ass iPad, my Belle Cherie. What are you reading? Wattpad? You are freaky." And I think about it all the time. So funny.
Wait, why was that low key a bar though? What the fuck?
It's so silly. She's so funny. That's what the Belle Cherie thing is from? Yeah. That's a big ass iPad, my Belle Cherie. It's so funny. Yeah, that's what I'm always quoting. Maya Winky ASMR. She also had one where she dressed up as Jimmy Neutron and like just whispered "brain blast" a lot.
Great.
Awesome.
No, I'm looking her up right now. Why is she dressed as Lord Farquaad?
She's so funny.
Oh my god.
So unsettling. I do wonder if there are applications like Teams where you can have it buzz the talent's phone to let them know when it's time for a meeting or feeding time.
I mean, we have that through Discord.
Yeah.
They just have to opt in.
Hmm.
But like, yeah.
I don't think I have any like horror stories that I can share that would be appropriate to share.
No, yeah, exactly.
mm,
Don't want to put anybody on blast, but
Yeah. I think the craziest thing for me is that this isn't like a personal thing that I've experienced it a little bit, but like I feel like it's worse for the people who have managers that read their emails. People love to email creators with the craziest shit known to man. And you know, then like poor Ken the manager is stuck reading these awful love letter type emails and doesn't know how to respond. You know, like I think that
yeah.
that's unfortunately like a pretty common thing. People writing fan fiction and then just dropping it in your email is like a pretty unfortunate thing that managers have to deal with more often than not. The correct response is delete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or make a tweet that's like, my manager reads my emails. Please stop
Yeah.
in my email. Like, yeah.
I will not be reading them.
Yeah.
Normally that gets them to stop. They're like, I will not be reading them. Just like,
Yeah. Dink Donk Talents is feeding time. Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely had, I think, on like a personal level, in terms of like emails and stuff, I get emails all the time that are like, hey, girl boss, we noticed that your content isn't doing so well. Would you like
oh, I
to
hate
sign up for
those.
our management service? We noticed that your SEO is ass. Would you like some help? And like,
Yeah.
even if it's a bot message or just like a spam message that's sent to multiple different creator emails, like it's still like I look at it and I'm like, ugh. Like
I
I
look
don't
at this and I'm
know.
like, the audacity! How dare you? I am
Yeah.
trying my best here.
My like SEO. Man. Man. My manager reads my email. You are traumatizing them. Please stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much that. Do managers prefer to work with the same clients as long as possible, or do managers prefer to rotate in fresh batches of clients on a regular basis?
See, again, that depends, right?
Mm.
Going back to the whole like debut prep versus like what function do you need your manager for, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're hiring a project manager and that project manager keeps like shifting clients, then it's like, okay, are they really helping you with project, or are they so ass at project management that you can only handle them for like one project and then you drop them, you know? Like it really depends on who you're working with and what you're working with them for.
There are some project managers that specialize in debut, so they may have a high turnover of clients because they're only helping with debut processes and then that's it. You know, it's like a one-term contract with said manager.
Right. And in that case, it would make sense
Yeah.
for them to have like a rotating list of clients,
Mm.
right?
I think in general though, I think that the longer a manager client relationship goes on, the more of a like green flag that is, but also like just in general, I think your manager can help you better the more they know you and the longer they've worked with you, you know?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because
Mm.
like then you guys get into like a rhythm of
Mhm.
like, okay, I can help you with this. I can't really help you with this. Okay, I can remind
Mhm.
you about this. I can't really like, you guys get to know each other and like you
Mhm.
guys establish like a good rapport, a good working relationship, and then, the
Mhm.
longer that goes on, the more fruitful the
Yeah.
the the partnership becomes, right?
I think that even to the point where sometimes if people have been in like a corporate industry setting and let's say hypothetically their corpo explodes or I don't know, whatever the situation is. Sometimes they'll ask to still continue to work with those managers if they like them, like to manage them as indies because they've built enough of a relationship with them that they want to keep working with them and they know that they will be able to help them in their like future endeavors, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I love those
Yep.
stories. Um,
Mm,
yeah,
yeah,
hopefully that answered the question. But yeah.
I think so. When do you know it's time to hire a manager?
Uh, it depends. Okay, like I'm gonna be a cop out and just say like it depends,
Mm,
but it really depends on like what your goals are for VTubing, and why you feel like you need a manager, right?
mhm,
Um, if you're like doing VTubing like part time and like are just needing like a little bit of help to like um at like schedule posts or like just be
mhm,
like pinged or just need a
mhm,
little bit of help like keeping up with collabs or whatever, then you don't really need a manager. I mean,
mm,
in that case, it might be better to hire a personal assistant, or it might be better to
mhm.
get a little bit more organized.
Yeah,
Um,
or like you also have like Discord mods. Like your Discord mods 9 times out of 10 want to help you with things, you know? Like your Twitch mods,
yeah,
your YouTube mods, whatever. Like 9 times out of 10 they're like, "Give me a job, man." Like what can I do for you, right? So, um sometimes even just asking them for a little bit of help, like, I don't know, can you ping me on this day at this time to remind me to do this thing, you know? Like even just asking for help with the people who are already there who want to help you might be enough, right?
yeah.
Mm,
But if you're like, yeah, to build off of that, if you're like looking on the other hand, if you're looking for like somebody to help you grow your social media platforms, if you're looking
mm,
for advice on like how to grow or where to take your content, or if you're not even sure like what your content is, then it might be worthwhile like hiring a manager and getting at least like a consultation to see
mhm,
um, the possible routes you could take and where you could go with your content.
mhm. Um I think that there's kind of two major like turning points for people where they start looking for management and it's either their growth gets to a point where they feel like they can't really handle everything on their own anymore or maybe they're like they've switched from part-time into full-time and things are now really busy and it's like stressful and doing it alone is scary, like that's kind of a moment where people start to look for management. Or another moment I think is when people are feeling like really burnt out and like don't know where to go or what to do and like they need direction. I think that's also another point in which people start to look for management. Um but I mean, is it bold of me to say like looking for a looking for a manager should be kind of like looking for a therapist? Like in the way
I
of
I
like
have seen that comparison. No, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like you shouldn't wait until you're like I'm dying, you know? Like
Yeah.
you should try to find someone who can help you before you're like I'm at the end of my rope, man, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
But
think that
sometimes like,
yeah.
to give some grace to people, sometimes it's hard to admit that you need help, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
it's hard to see yourself in that hole that you have unintentionally dug
Mhm.
yourself.
Mhm.
And you know, hopefully if you are in that position, or heaven forbid you ever find yourself in that position. But if
Mm-hmm.
you are, you do find somebody who is patient and
Mm-hmm.
able to help you.
Yeah. Mods are great too because they're already invested in and knowledgeable of your brand and well-being. Yeah, I know that
Yeah.
especially with indies or indies who have been streaming for quite a while, usually the people who are their moderators are not just people who are like around all the time, like they're people who they really trust who have watched their growth over an extended period of time. And so I think that moderators are people that you should rely on more. I'm saying this as a verbal reminder to myself because I also do the thing where I'm like, I'm so busy. I don't have time for anything. Everything's overwhelming. And it's like, I have 6 people who are standing there and they're like, can I help you in some way? So um, I think that that is a resource that like they're there and they're willing to help you. Most of the time they signed up for that, most of the time. Sometimes
Believe
they're Nepo hired.
Mods, if she's holding you against your will, just raise a hand in the chat. I see you.
sometimes sometimes they're bullied into applying for mod.
Maybe.
Sphinx, no.
Hold
No.
on, I'll be there. I got you.
Where are good places to look for management services?
Twitter.
Mm,
But you can also like if you know another manager, could be like a small corporate manager or a an indie manager. Chances are,
mm,
like we mentioned in the past, like chances are we know each other.
mm,
And so if you ask one manager for Rex, like we could probably direct you towards a
mm.
couple others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some people, if you're looking for project management, some people um do offer those services like through VGen.
Oh yeah.
But I would strongly urge you to just like vet everything. You should be vetting every manager that you come across slash speak to. But um, I
1,000%. Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
VGen it's a platform that is you can find people easily. However, they can also just list services without any real portfolio or credentials, and I think it's like easier to get caught up in a not so great situation. So, um yeah, I would probably first do the pipeline of speaking to people that you know. And then from there move into looking like externally.
Hmm.
Um but if you do find people on VGen, did I miss the answer to the vetting question? Yes. But this VOD will be up on YouTube forever. So,
Aha!
so you can go find it. Yippee! I'll try to see if I can timestamp the VOD, um, and get the questions in order. Hopefully, we'll see if I have time. I'm in Offkai Con Crunch right now, so we'll see
All
how
valid.
it
Yeah.
goes. Um, what was I gonna say? Um, oh, you can ask potential management for testimonials too. That's something that I think that people forget that they can do. Um so you can ask them if they have any on hand because there's a chance that they might have references of people that have worked with them before who would recommend them.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Or if you know, like, if they do have like a history of working with people, you could just ask the people that they've worked with directly,
mm,
as like a reference.
yeah.
Some people are willing to talk about that. Some people are not
Mm,
so. But yeah, another way
yeah.
to help out.
3 weeks off, Kai. I know. So soon.
Oh my god.
Don't say that.
Oh,
I'm not ready.
where did the time go? Holy shit.
Um, What are your favorite VTuber projects to work on? There's always a ton of excitement surrounding debuts, but are there other exciting projects that you enjoy?
Mm. Aside from debuts, I think my favorite projects are just arranging collabs. Um,
Mm,
Thinking about like when we set up Festival back in December,
mm,
where it was like Naomi's really big like collaboration event, where she invited a bunch of like indie and other corpo VTubers. For her, it was like her first time holding an event of that size, and
mm,
like being able to help her organize and like work through it was really really fun.
mm,
Um, Another big one, or like subathons. Thinking about like rewards and like what to do during the subathons. That's always fun.
mm.
Uh, I think
I hate that.
other than that, oh,
I hate thinking of subathon rewards to the point where a couple months ago we had something that we called the nothing-a-thon, which is POV, you give me money, I give you nothing.
oh,
It was awesome. My community loved it.
hey, if the
It's
people
great.
love it, the people love it.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that.
Yeah. I think because I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years, that was a good one. Yeah. I think because we've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years, like there's still subathon debt that I like have that I have to catch up on. So the idea of adding more when I'm in a situation where it's like, oh, like I have emergency stuff that I need to, pay for and I can't really commit to doing more than I already have on the docket. Like, I don't know, we just made it
Mm.
gimmicky and then it was silly and wasn't that in like
Yeah, not
July?
bad.
Oh, was it like a year ago? Almost? Oh.
Did you
Maybe I
finish
should do more
dispersing
nothing-a-thons,
the
huh?
rewards? Oh, perhaps. Oh, annual nothing-a-thon? Thoughts?
It's the nothing-a-thon that never ends. It's just all the time. Eternally in debt to the subathon rewards. Yeah. Birthday nothing-a-thon. Maybe. Perhaps. We'll see. Um. So you said big collabs for you in subathons. Subathon goals.
Yeah. What about you? Yeah.
Hmm. I really enjoyed the planning that went into VIVARIA SMP. Um. I think it was really fun reaching out to everybody and watching everybody be really excited about Minecraft and like also watching all of these VTubers once they flooded into the Bavaria SMP like Discord server, like posting pictures of them going to McDonald's to get the Minecraft meal because they were excited and like talking about like
Oh.
like how excited they were for Bavaria SMP. And like last night, I was streaming with Hazmi last night and we were just doing like a two-person build stream and like three people who were also online at the same time just like came over and they were just helping us like clear out the space so that we could build more and it was like so cute. Like
Oh,
I
that's
just
so so
I
wholesome.
think
My heart.
having community be so close by all the time has been really really exciting for me and like what I wanted with Bavaria SMP was to be able to log in and just like be around people all the time. So um it's done what I wanted it to do and I'm very very happy about that. And like planning the little events within the big Bavaria SMP thing as a whole has been also very fun. Like we're planning like an Ender raid and then like
On.
we're doing like the summer build competition and like I intend to do like a handful of events as a community. So um that's been really fun, I think.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that for you.
Um Otherwise though, I like debuts. Hee I like project management of debuts. Those are my favorite. I know that like the question was like, I know that you probably like debuts, but like I like debuts. I think they're really
Y'all, I don't
fun.
know if you can tell, she really likes debuts.
I really like debuts. Speaking of, I have a debut in August, just like by the way.
Oh, well?
Yeah, got teeny real.
Oh, wait, I will be there no matter what. Hold up. Let me pencil that
Got
in. What date?
teeny.
What date?
Okay, tentatively August 20th, which is my affiliate anniversary on Twitch. Um, it'll be my 5-year affiliate anniversary, I think. Um, Yeah. But we'll see. I I hesitate to be like, yes, August 20th because I am still waiting for a lot of moving pieces. But
Mhm.
I should have a solid date probably by like mid-July. Hmm.
Looking forward to it.
Yippee! Got teeny real. Got teeny real. I'm so excited. And I'm am I gonna say this out loud?
It's a
I'm
safe space. You can say
illustrating a music
it.
video by myself, which I've never done before.
Ooh.
So I'm very excited to
Ooh.
be more hands-on this time. Yippee!
Yippee! Are we allowed like a teaser of what song you're gonna be covering?
No,
Or
no, because it would
okay.
be. It, I can't show the art anywhere because then it would be too obvious of like what song it is. And also, if I tell you what song it is, it would be too obvious of what the illustration would look like. So,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
it's
Valid,
iconic.
valid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, tee Um. Okay.
Clover's
This.
Clover's losing it.
No. Yeah, Clover's already seen some of it. um. This question, I think, is from one of your talents.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay.
Because it came in when you put the tweet out.
Aha.
How do I convince more boy VTubers to smooch me? I mean, play repo with me. Need advice not scaring away men. Thanks.
Okay, as a man, I would say I've never had to answer a question like this.
Ah.
As
Ah.
as a man, I would say just compliment him, dude.
Hmm.
Just literally like try to start like light conversation, whether that be like don't be like harassing them or anything, but just
Mm.
like say like, hey, really, I tuned into your stream when where you're streaming like so and so, and I really wanted to say that I really like, I don't know, your vibe, or I really like your model. Start some sort of like conversation there and see where it goes from there.
Riz them.
I mean, yeah, literally riz them. You're not gonna get them in
Yeah.
repo if you're not gonna riz them.
Yeah. I would say that this is a general statement just for like, I don't know. This is what's worked for me in the past, not specifically with asking men to play games with me, but just like asking people in general. I do approach with Riz, so maybe hopefully that will
Oh,
work for you also. I
what are the
told
tried
Hazmi
and true?
yesterday that I was
Yeah.
gonna sexually harass her at Offkai.
Okay,
And
I
she
don't
said, "Oh,
advertise. I don't advocate for that. It's like those group chats with the guys where it's like, I'm gonna touch you.
Teeny's Riz is just harassment." Okay, but my voice is so silly goofy that no one takes me seriously, so that's why it works. Because I say it like it is a joke, but I say it like it's a joke, and then it works for me that way. But
Mm.
I don't know. I think that if I'm approaching this question from a very serious lens, actually, I think that male VTubers can be a little spooked of collabs and making friends and stuff because of some of the like stigmas within the space.
Mm.
So just in general with collabs, I honestly, it is good to, approach people and be like, hey, I know we haven't spoken, but like, would you like to do a collab? Like, you can do that for sure. But some people also, it might be worth it to just say, like, hey, do you want to hang out sometime? Like, not monetize it. Like, like, would you like to
Yeah, like
just
build that rapport
play a
first. Build that like
game? Would you
relationship.
like to just,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I always say that like I joke in the VIVARIA chat and I'll be like, I'm asking this person out on a date today, and what I mean by that is like I'm asking them if they want to like play Mario Kart with me, or like I don't know, like something like offline so that I can get to know them, you know? So,
Yeah.
mm,
And in that way as
yes.
well, like when you do eventually set up the collab, or if you do, right, you can have a much more genuine experience where where you and your collab partner are like less like getting to know each other and more comfortable with each other, and then the really good
Mm-hmm.
content comes out of that and the interactions with that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that was my last question. Well, technically the last question was ask Manager-kun about the feeding ping.
All right. Do
Yuri,
you
do you
have
have
any questions?
anything?
Oh,
Oh, do I have any questions?
yes.
Hmm, that's true. Management right in front of me and I can ask them a question. Um, what has been the most um what has been the most like exciting part of the Offkai prep so far?
Ooh. Uh, I would say it's like a tie between setting up the meet and greets,
Mm,
but also like setting up uh or thinking brainstorming and thinking about what we're going to do for our booth.
mm,
Um, because like I'm very local to the area, so like I'll be
mm,
bringing a lot of stuff over, and so just thinking about like, okay, what can I um what do I need to bring? What can I repurpose from my equipment to bring to the venue?
mm,
Um, what can I do to like personally support to make sure that this event is the best that we've had since last year, you know? And so
mm,
like a lot of that has been going on to my thinking, and that's been making me very excited for Offguy.
mm. Yeah. Offkai. Yippee! I'm excited.
Yippee!
I'm excited. Okay, wait. I have one more question. Um, what makes you more inclined to be a manager and helping behind the scenes as opposed to being a VTuber? Because you are like a fairly like forward facing VTuber manager for the company that you work for. So, like what specifically about management is like mm, something that draws you in more than being a VTuber?
Yeah, I'd say okay, this is gonna get like really like sappy. But I'd
Okay.
say it's like it really goes back to my experiences throughout life, and it's just about I've always found it more fulfilling for myself and more like uh, more in line with what I want to do in life to help others succeed than it
Hmm.
is to like take that spotlight for myself, you know?
Mm.
Um, it really comes back to like uh, my experiences in school and stuff where like you know I used to do theater and I found it really fun to be part of the ensemble than have all the pressure of being like a main cast member, you know, where I
Not
could
the emotional
uh
persona music kicking in while you're talking about this.
oh dead ass. No, but yeah, like it's like helping the production in my own personal way
Mm,
to succeed while also letting others have that spotlight because I know that they
yeah.
could do better with that spotlight than I could, you know?
Hmm.
That's really what it boils down to.
I
And
see.
I'm happy. Yeah.
I I have like a friend who works for a maid cafe, and she like is in the maid cafe, but she kind of takes the back seat like most of the time, and she was asking me about like if I needed anything when Vivaria first started up. She was asking me if I needed any like assistance or if I needed like a liaison for contacting like conventions or like if there was anything that I needed help with. And I was like, you know, you kind of take the back seat in your little maid cafe and like I know that you like VTubers. Like, have you ever thought about being a VTuber and like I don't know, like being a little bit more forward facing in a different kind of way? And she was like, "No, I think my talents are more utilized helping other people and I like it." And
Yeah, no, I
I
empathize
was
with
like,
that
we need
strongly.
people
Yeah.
like that. Like it's important, you know? Hmm.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. Well, yippee! Otsu management stream. I can't think of anything else that I would ask you. Catch me
All right.
in your DMs in approximately 48 hours, and I'm like, oh, actually, I should have asked you this and this and this and this and this and this.
I'm an open book. Feel free. I do have something to ask you though.
Yeah.
Because before, and like especially when you first contacted me, you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm really doing the things of a manager." But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, um, you have all this like wealth of experience, and you also help
Mm-hmm.
with like the social media and marketing for Vivaria. So
Mm-hmm.
what's like, what are your reservations with calling yourself like a manager, or why do you not see yourself as one? I guess.
I think because, um, hmm, that's a good question. Well, you know, I think specifically with Bavaria, that's a hard hitting question for our horse, I know. I think
I'm sorry.
specifically with Bavaria, um, you know, our thing is that like we're all self-managed and we're all indie VTubers, but we're in a corporate-facing group. You know, it's like
Hmm.
my intention with Bavaria was that I wanted to be seen in the same like light and like professionalism as the other corpos in this space. But you know, I've been entirely self-managed all aside from 1 month last year when I hired Lulu, Chromia Lucien,
Oh,
um
love her. Yeah.
for I was feeling really busy around a debut time and so I hired her for 1 month because I wanted to ask her a whole bunch of questions and get some help with planning the debut that I had cooking. Sheep, sheep. But also because I wanted
Sheepium.
to support her too. Um, and so I don't know. I guess just um, because I've always been self-managed, I feel like maybe it's almost like there's like a pride in the fact that I've always been like self-managed. Maybe that's what it is. That I'm like, I want other people to have that feeling too. You know, like I don't know. Um, but I also know that that's not something that everyone uh can or needs to do. You know,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is where I'm. Maybe it's just I like being a streamer too much and I want that to be my first and foremost thing. I don't know. I'm not
No,
sure.
yeah, that's valid. That's valid.
Mm,
No, sorry if it got
yeah.
too hard hitting. I was just a
No,
little
no,
curious.
no, no. It's something that I think about a lot because like Clover Clover is always like that's my horse boss and like Dreamy whenever she types Teeny in her phone it always auto corrects to Trent. And so we joke that we have a manager named Trent. Um and we have to ask manager Trent for like help with things. Um, But that's literally, it's just me. So I don't know why I like don't want to say that I'm like the manager of the group. I'm not sure. I think just because creative director feels the most like appropriate to what the situation calls for, because everyone for the most part is like pretty self-managed. Like I just handle the scheduling of the group stuff, but all of their own individual things that they have going on is all their prerogative, and they rarely ask me for help with any of like standard management things, you know? So you don't have to read our emails and reply to your fan fiction. Yeah. Reply to the love letters in your email. Group manager,
No,
but
but yeah,
not
that
an
makes
individual
a lot of
manager.
sense.
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. It's food for thought. That's food for thought. But can I start emailing my fanfics to the VIVARIA email? Well, I guess so, but then we'll have to make a post on the group account that says, please stop sending fanfiction to the group email. Trent reads these.
And
Poor
Trent.
Trent.
And then the mystery of Trent deepens, and they're like, "Who the hell?" The audience will be like, "Who's Trent?"
Who's Trent? Who is that? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like helping out behind the scenes. Here's the thing. This is the tea. I'm really good at management. But is it the thing that I love doing the most? Probably not. I think that's what it is. Is that I'm really good at organization and project management, and I'm really good at pulling things together under a tight timeline, and I'm good at being the professional contact and like all the things that I think makes a good manager. However, I want to be Oshi'd.
That's valid. That's valid.
I want to perform on the little stage, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. I think this was very informative.
I'm glad.
Yeah, thank you for joining me for question time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. If another segment or another idea like this ever arises, my DMs are open.
Yeah, or like maybe we could like play Fortnite or something too. That also works.
I could do that. I'd be down.
Or maybe you could ping me once a day. Dink donk streamer feeding time.
Oh no. When do you eat? What are your
I'm actually
what are the horse feeding times?
Horse feeding time. Don't worry. I'm actually very structured.
Thank
I
God.
take care of myself. Don't worry.
As
The
you
horse
should, as you
feeding
should.
emo, my goodness. MSN Messenger
Wait,
looking ass emote.
That's a whole ass emote. Wait, what?
Yeah. Horse feeding. Carrot o'clock. Speaking of, sometime next week, I should have the horse ASMR up on YouTube to those who were waiting for that.
Yippee!
Yeah, yippee! So silly. Well, I guess we'll call it a day. I'm not sure who is streaming right now. Just give me one sec. Thanks, boss. I will listen to it every night before bed. I don't think you want to. Because I haven't told you what horse ASMR even is. The way that Clover's in my chat right now, but they are also streaming. Okay, we're gonna raid Clover.
Oh, deadass? Okay.
Clover does this. Clover sits on their starting soon screen and then just talks to people. Clover,
You know, I
you
love
have
that
to
for them.
put my raid message in your chat, okay? Self-report. Okay, we are gonna raid Clover. For anybody who is watching over on YouTube, I will probably not raid out the stream. But if you could give this live a like and perhaps a comment when it ends, that would be really cool because it pushes it to the algorithm and the places that it needs to go. So that would be epic.
Let's
Yeah.
get the
Thank you
VOD
for-
to 100 likes.
Let's go.
Manifesting likes in your future.
Yes. Wait, why are you flipping me off? What the hell?
What?
Thank you.
No.
My chat is. Thank you for joining stream, Manager-kun. Bye, Teeny. Flips you off. What the hell? 1 million likes. 300 likes.
1 million.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay,
This is really
let's
fun.
go see Clover.
Yes.
Clover, one Clover Anari. One Clover Anari on twitch.tv.
Coming up.
Alright, goodbye everybody. Oyasutimi. Good night.
Oyasutimi. Good night.